Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie.
Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. For more information on how the CCIDA can assist your business, visit choosechq.com.
From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives.
Is getting vaccinated on your to-do list? We can help you check it off because we make getting vaccinated easy. You've got this because we've got you. To learn more, visit yougotthis.usaging.org.
From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing out there? The wind is ferocious. This morning we woke up and the house was shaking. As you know, we were up on the escarpment in Ripley and it was roaring through there. And just, 30 seconds ago it was pouring rain here. We could hear it on the roof. So I guess it's going to be one of those kind of days. It's going to be windy and rainy. But talk about whiplash. Justin, it was 21 degrees the other day when I took Brody out for his walk, and this morning it was 64.
Yes, my arthritis in my head.
Your arthritis is kicking in. Wait till you get a little bit older. It'll be everywhere, your arthritis. Anyways, Chautauqua County in Western New York, it's March, and it comes in like a lamb and goes out like a lion, and vice versa. So I don't know how it's going to end, but hope you're all doing well. I digress here. I want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. We've got a very, very interesting discussion today. We have some ladies representing Zonta. I think that's the first time I've said that word on the air, Zonta. That's the second time. And it's an organization for women, and we're going to talk about that and some special events and a focus that they're going to have for April regarding sexual assault and child abuse. You might say, Doc, you just talked about this last week. Yes, but this is going to come from a whole different angle, and they're having a special event that we're going to explore in great depth. Okay, going along with the weather, I hope you enjoyed all 4 seasons in the last 2 weeks. We had winter, summer, spring, and fall. It's crazy. And like you said, Justin, my poor old body is like kind of going cuckoo here. I don't know. The other thing about March, did you know that it's Women's History Month? And there's lots of focus on all the wonderful and exceptional work that it seems even odd that we even have to have a month to talk about that. But women, over the years, hundreds of thousands of years, I don't know, have been like second-class citizens. Not in my house, by the way. But if you haven't seen some of the programs on TV or articles, check it out because fabulous, fabulous things that have gone on over the years because of a woman. Okay. Do a shout out to my friends over in the Ukraine, Natalia at the YWCA over there, and friends down in Kenya. James, if you're watching, I hope you're all doing well. Remember, throughout the show here, we do have a phone number that you can call, and it's 716-753-5225. Just going to pop it up. I know he's listening. And it's, see how, no, that's not the one I want. Diana doesn't want you to call her. 716-753-5225. It's live. We're here from 9 to 10 right now, and we're streaming around the world. So you can, wherever you are, you can call us at that number. Now, as always, we have our announcements. People send us things throughout the week, and you can send it to us at Chautauqua Sunrise, all one word, at gmail.com. Okay? So that is that. And throughout the week, if you want to watch the show again, or you want to say, I got somebody that should watch this show, we're going to be on Facebook and YouTube pretty quick. And then, of course, we're on 2 and 8 every day on Spectrum 1301. All right. Let's see. Coming up next week, we don't have a flyer on this, but a very dear friend of mine, Randy Henderson, is having some health issues. And over at the Big Inlet on Sunday, not this Sunday, but April 6th, from 1 to 5, I think it is, a bunch of his friends and musicians, including myself, are going to get together, and we're going to have him a good vibe party. We're going to give him a pre-get well party. Randy and I, we played music together for over 3 years with the Midnight Growlers, and just really good memories of working with Randy. I'm a semi-retired musician now. But Randy, hang in there, and I know you're going to get through what you need to get through. But Big Inlet next Sunday. I'm giving you kind of an announcement now, and I'll grab a poster next Saturday for that as well. All right, let's see what else do I have here. Okay, I think that I'm going to go to our, this one here. I should circle it right there. I had an interesting event this morning. You know, I always warn everybody this time of year that you got the deer moving out of the hills and down onto the roads and all that sort of thing. Today was a little different. I don't even know where I was, on the back hills between Sherman, Ripley, and Mayville, somewhere out there. And all of a sudden, I see a turkey fly by. I all know, because where there's one turkey, there's always a second turkey. I missed that second turkey probably by about 6 inches. It was right in front of my windshield. I go, holy cow, that's a big bird. So you never know what you're going to see in Chautauqua County. But be mindful of the deer and bears. Also, they're coming out of hibernation. You might say, we got bears in Chautauqua County? Oh, yes, we do. And I think a couple years ago I shared one where a big old 300-pound bear was on my deck. So, anyways, it's a great place to live here. I got some announcements to share with you. This is from Dunkirk. All right, this is one of those kind of let you know ahead of time things. Let's see here, I'm going to read this. The City of Dunkirk Youth and Recreation Department will be collaborating with the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Chautauqua County for this year's Youth Summer Program. The program will be held at Point Rashid from July 7th through August 15th. The program will run Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., early bird hours from 7 a.m. to 7:45, and night owl hours 4:15 to 5 p.m. are available for an extra fee. One child summer registration is $400, 2 children is $750, and 3 children is $1,050. So this is, like daycare, but with some really fun things to do. Now listen, this is what it includes. The program includes breakfast, lunch, and a snack daily. A field trip, you should sign your dad up. That would take care of him. Field trips, community, I got that one. I heard him laughing back there. Community engagement activities and engaging programs that follow the Boys and Girls Club 5 core areas, including arts, career exploration and creation, health and wellness, leadership and community service, and sports recreation activities will occur throughout the program. For more information, please contact the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Chautauqua County. And the phone number there is 366-9877, 366-9877. So if you're interested in having your kiddos being part of the Dunkirk summer program, recreational program, give them a call and get signed up. Then we got a slide for this one, number 15. The City of Dunkirk Youth and Recreation Department will be hosting, believe it or not, an Easter Carnival. It's coming up here for local children and their families on Saturday, April 19th. from 12 to 2 in the Stearns Court next to Central Station Restaurant and within the Stearns Building Training Center. Children and their families can expect crafts and coloring pages, carnival games, goodie bags, and light refreshments. The Easter Bunny, of course, will also be in attendance. Please contact your Youth and Recreation Coordinator, Alex Toffel, at 366-9877. 366-9877. Again, that's April 19th from 12 to 2. Moving right along. Westfield will not be left out. The Bunny Hop. I'm not sure if we've done this before. This might be new. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is from Westfield. They're saying the following. We are pleased to announce another inaugural signature weekend event designed to be a fun, family-friendly outing with a little something for everyone in Westfield, New York. The Bunny Hop Weekend will take place the same weekend as Dunkirk's, but this is all weekend now, so you can go to both Friday, April 18th and Saturday, April 19th throughout the village and beyond. Beginning on Friday the 18th at 10:30 a.m., the Patterson Library will sponsor Easter fun activities, stories, treats, and a chance to visit with live bunnies, goats, and ducks. Saturday the 19th begins at 10 a.m. with the First Baptist Church's annual Easter egg hunt in Moore Park, also featuring the biblical story of Easter. On Sunday from 10 to 2, more Easter-themed activities, live rabbits, and make and take crafts continue at the Patterson Library. Okay, hang on. Okay, Saturday, Lakeshore Center for the Arts will be part of the hop from 11 to 4, and will show a children's Easter movie from 11 to 2. Saturday from 11 to 4, do the bunny hop throughout the village. Do the bunny hop. Okay, throughout the village of Westfield and beyond, patrons may visit participating bunny hop stops. Say that 10 times fast. Quick, bunny hop stops. Bunny hop. Look for the bunny hop stop sign. They give me these tough things to say every Saturday morning, and a list of hop stops on the door of each shop. For Easter treats, spot the golden eggs and sign up to win a prize. Munch on Franklin's kettle corn, have their faces painted, and meet the Easter Bunny. He's going to be making his rounds that weekend. Include visits to Westfield's unique shops and restaurants that offer varied and delicious cuisine as part of your weekend experience. You want more information? Give our friend Marilyn Hemmer a call. She told me I could use her number, so it's 716-753-6043. Again, 716-753-6043. Okay, the bunny hop stops. All right, on a more serious note, April is a special month regarding child abuse prevention and so forth. And as we know, Spielman was here last week, and we're going to talk more about this topic here in a minute. But they wanted us to know that there's going to be pinwheels that she mentioned, and this is a reminder of where these are going to take place. So, the pinwheel is a happy and uplifting token of childhood. It stands as a symbol of hope and the bright futures we want for all kids. Help plan our pinwheel prevention gardens representing safe, happy, and healthy childhoods. Wear blue for prevention. Okay, so we have some events taking place. There's 3 of them. You ready? Wednesday, April 2nd, which is just around the corner, at 1:15 Jamestown City Hall, at 20 East 3rd Street in Jamestown, at 1:15 City Hall. Monday, April 7th, 3:30 Chautauqua Family Court, 2 Academy Street. It's like right here. I'm not sure where they're going to put the pinwheels, but we do have some grassy areas. Out there? He's pointing. Right around the corner. On Academy Street. That's right, in front of the, okay, gotcha. These guys know everything. I don't know anything. 3, they're already starting to put them there. 3:30, April 7th. Then Thursday, April 10, 1 p.m., Dunkirk City Hall, 342 Central Avenue. Again, April 10th at 1 p.m. A strong, supportive community that values parenting and families makes a safe and healthy environment for kids. A strong community helps parents learn, supports them, and reduces stress through programs and services that emphasize protective factors. So they encourage you to join them for the pinwheels. With that, we're going to take a little breather, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. One time. That was trying to stop bullying and what to do about it. And believe it or not, my brother and I, we were like, I don't know, probably in 6th or 7th grade, and we were close to 6 foot then, pretty big guys. We had these little punks that were trying to bully us. Even back then, I was like, are you kidding me? So bullying continues. Why? I don't know. There's a cycle of it. You know, sometimes kids want to hurt kids before they get hurt and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of psychological stuff that goes behind bullying. And it's just sad when you see kids even today, and we talked about this, I think it was last week, children, they're children, young teens, preteens, they're committing suicide because they have been just badgered and picked on and embarrassed on Facebook and in Snapchat and all these other places on social media, and kids are just tough on them. And so if you see something going on, as an adult especially, give some kids some safe harbor, will you? Talk with them, make sure they're safe. Okay, I'm going to say Zonta now for the 3rd time. I like that sound. I want to introduce and welcome back one person and introduce you someone new to the show. So first we're going to welcome back Diana Butcher. She's been here before, and a new guest, Jodi Swindell. I get that right?
Yes.
All right. And both of you are representing a project. Diana, you said you had been associated with Zonta in the past, and Jodi, you currently are a member of Zonta.
Yes.
So if you have more than one person in Zonta, what do you call yourselves?
Zontians.
Zontians. Shuns. All right, I do want.
T-I-O-N.
You see, I asked you first, so I didn't say it wrong. I was going to say Zontians, Zontians. Carol Haig, a dear old friend of mine, not that she's old, but we've known each other for a long time, had contacted me thinking this was a radio show, and I said, no, this is TV, and wanted to have a spotlight on some of the work that you all are doing. And I got to be honest with you, I've seen organizational announcements in the paper and so forth for Zonta, and I really didn't know too much about Zonta. And so I know that it's been around for a long time.
Long time.
It was started in my birthplace of Buffalo back in the 19-something or others, teens. And so one of you tell us a little bit about what Zonta is?
Yeah, so just in one sentence, it's to build a better world for women and girls.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an international organization.
Mm-hmm.
And internationally, there are several initiatives like ending child marriage, which is huge. Climate change initiatives, because climate change impacts women and girls the most worldwide, makes their lives infinitely more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But locally,
Mm-hmm.
we give scholarships, a lot of scholarships. We donate a lot of money to various organizations, the Anu Center for one, Boys and Girls Club, Girl Scouts, I believe Camp Aniasa, so those things. And we just try to put a spotlight on issues affecting women and girls the most. And so for that reason, we came up with the idea of the, it initially came out as sexual assault, it's no laughing matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to create an expo. And we're not going to necessarily focus on the bad things, but we're definitely highlighting services in our community, which there are so many, and we're so lucky to have them.
Okay.
But we're going to be highlighting healthy relationships, safe dating. There's going to be a big information push about internet safety, because I think right now that's probably our greatest detriment to our to anyone really, our young people, our old people.
Okay.
So we have to give people the tools to keep themselves safe.
Okay, so there's a nice little intro, but Tell us a little bit about yourself, since you're new here.
Yeah, I'm new to Zonta, and actually it's your friend Carol Hay who got me into it. She's a longtime friend. And I'm fairly new Zontian. I'm only 3 years, and most of our Zontians are, many, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's just the best group of women I've ever been involved with.
Now, this is countywide?
We meet in Jamestown, but yes, anyone from the county can come, and there are groups in Bradford and Olean.
Really?
So, yeah, Erie, Buffalo, and we have people coming from Canada when we have our District 4 summits.
Nice.
So it's a great group of women.
And how many Zontians are
in our Jamestown club? I believe there are 55.
55? That's a large group
It
for this
is
area.
a large group, and believe it or not, I believe Bradford is outpacing us by a couple of members.
Are you looking for new members?
We are always looking for new members, and we have a bit of a good, healthy competition amongst us. Warren, super strong Zontian group in Warren.
So where do you meet?
We meet for our business meetings. We're at the Marvin House.
Oh, yes, I know
Also
what that is.
supporting women's
I hope you're not up on the
organizations.
top floor. I used to have meetings up there.
Sometimes we have to go to the top floor. Our board meeting
I used
is
to
at the
ask for to
top
have
floor.
oxygen at the top.
Yeah, you gotta go up the stairs. And then we have a program meeting, so we meet twice a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then if you're in a committee, subcommittee, you meet, so you're meeting often.
Certainly.
And our program meetings are at the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so we have dinner, we have guest speakers, and you bring guests, and it's fantastic.
So, if someone was interested right now to be a Zontian,
Yes.
how do you become one?
You can contact us via our website, which is Zonta, Z or Z, ONTA, Jamestown.org. And then you fill out your personal information, and someone from our membership committee will contact you.
Are there dues?
Yes, there are dues.
What are the dues?
dues-
I'm very upfront with people because
Yeah.
my Rotary Club is $200 a year.
Yeah, it says, I believe our dues are 60.
Well, that's very
Not
low.
bad. It's really good. And then of course we have fundraisers. You got to do the sales.
Sell the tickets or
Yeah, we do our calendars of cash every year. So
Good.
yeah, it's good. And we ask people to try to be on 2 committees.
Right, and you knew a friend of mine, Joe Hamels. So
Yes.
I remember, I think, did she just join within the last couple of years, maybe?
She was there before.
Probably in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would say
'cause
in
she
the
was
On
last
there.
Facebook,
5.
she announced something, and I remember going,
Yeah.
oh, now you're with Zonta, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
we have a lot of teachers, a lot of nurses, and
But it can be anybody.
it can be anyone.
Okay.
Absolutely, it can
So,
be anyone.
Zonta is not an everyday word. Is it stand for something? Is it, where does
It
it come
came
from?
about from, oh gosh, now you're asking me the history. I believe it came from an Indian
Okay, all right.
formulation.
If we don't know for sure, that's okay.
Yeah,
but
there's a long story when we have our introduction, a new member being
Mm-hmm.
inducted about what our symbol, the Z, is. So,
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to go online and do a little research on
Yeah.
that, so that's okay. So everybody's got a homework assignment, look up Zonta. I found an interesting word.
It is.
All these years, I thought it had to do with the Swedish community or something,
No.
but it doesn't. Yeah.
No.
It's very cool.
no, yeah, it's
And
good.
Diana, you were involved with Zonta as well, and tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been here before, but maybe people haven't seen you in a while.
Yep. I'm actually a resident of Cattaraugus County, but I've worked in Chautauqua County for over 30 years. I'm the program director for the Salvation Army and New Center. I've been on the show before, talking about these same thematic issues. And yes, I was in Zonta for a few years, and unfortunately, I've left the program, but it is great. They're, like Jodi said, great group of people and very active. There's 16 days of activism that takes place every year, and they do a lot of fundraisers and a lot of good work. And it's not just for women and girls. I mean, that's their focus, but we're looking at including the whole community, right? So anytime we're looking to address issues, it takes a whole community, right,
Absolutely.
to do that.
I'm a Rotarian, and so we do very similar kinds of things. Not so much just like women, but all people. But we do have women and child as a major concern for around the world, and education and good water and things of this nature. So how long has Zonta been in Chautauqua County, ballpark?
At least 100 years.
In Chautauqua County?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
And you have a board of directors and a president and all
Yes.
that stuff? Okay.
Yes.
So, Diana, you were saying, you were no longer with them. We only have so much time in a day. And we have so many things that come at us sometimes. And, I've been on all kinds of boards and organizations, and sometimes you just got to take a little breather.
Say no.
But
Yeah.
I know you do support the work of Zonta.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
great. Okay. So you mentioned a number of things that's going to go on at this expo. So let's talk about, what do you mean by an expo? What's an expo?
So an expo would be, we're thinking like if you go to a home and garden show or a bridal show, there's these little stations that you can stop and get information and maybe get some swag and some merch and, some little gifts. So we're going to have a lot of organizations there. For example, a news center, which is, by the way, the news center, they run the hotline, which I think is really important to highlight.
Okay, so let's take our time. We got plenty of time to talk
Yeah.
about everything. So, Diana, obviously you're with ANEW in the Salvation Army. So what is ANEW and what about this hotline? Who's it for?
Okay, so the ANEW Center is the designated domestic violence and sexual assault program for our county. We're small, but we're mighty, and we do a lot of comprehensive work. Jodi actually volunteers for us and helps us out because we're always looking for volunteers. We need help. So we have a 13-bed domestic violence shelter. We have the designated hotline, so we have a 24-hour hotline.
What is it? What's the number?
1-800-252-8748. And we also have case managers, so they work with the folks that are residing in the shelter, but we also have a very large non-residential program. We typically work with between 450 and 600 individuals in a year throughout the program.
What?
Yeah.
Say that one more. 400. What?
450 to 600, and I think, 1 year we were just under 700 people.
In Chautauqua County.
In Chautauqua County.
Dealing with
Yeah.
domestic violence.
And we're not getting everybody by any means. Then there's other agencies out in the community that also work with domestic violence victims. So yeah, it's a huge problem for our community for sure. We have a children and family outreach program. Last year we worked with about 68 families, about 165 people total in that program. We have, like I said, our case management, which is kind of, I always say lovingly, they're the workhorses of our program because they cover the entire county. And we have a prevention education component. And then we are also the designated rape crisis program. So our key staff are all trained from the Department of Health state standards to be rape crisis counselors. I believe Jodi took advocates.
I did
take the course. It's a 40-hour course. It's pretty intense, and there's requirements year to year to be able to maintain that. So within that part of the program, we not only do the awareness events, but we work directly with victims who have been sexually assaulted, provide them case management, and we also respond to all the hospitals and the wellness clinic as well for when there's an emergency call. We have an advocate that'll come on site and provide services for the victim and make sure that they understand their rights and responsibilities as a victim and make sure they're being taken care of correctly while they're getting their services. And we also help with, if they want to file a police report, we can assist them with that. If they end up going to court, we can provide advocacy for legal and criminal components of that.
My head is still spinning on that number of 650 to 700 people being served.
Yeah.
I would never in the wildest dreams said that many. That's really sad.
And we have a lot of folks that might just reach us through the hotline and maybe that's all the services they want, and that's okay. A few times a year we have folks that are just unknown. They don't want to share too much. They just need to have someone to talk to at any time. It's 24 hours a day. And that's all right too. We are totally client driven. We don't require anything from our folks that use our services. There's no fees involved with any of our services, and when I say client-driven, they get to make the choice of what services they want and what they don't want from us.
I'm afraid to ask this question. Are the numbers up or down?
They've stayed pretty steady for the last year or so. COVID just was a crazy thing, and our numbers were really high in our children's program. What was happening through COVID, what we found is there wasn't as much reporting, and part of that was because kids weren't in school, and all those kinds of things. People were really isolated.
Reporters weren't involved.
Right, but when it was coming to light, it was much more serious, serious injuries or death. Since COVID's not rearing its ugly head quite so much, things are kind of going back to that sway. Things go up and down. I think the one good thing is I'm always writing grants. We're always messing around with statistics. And what we've found is Chautauqua County historically, unfortunately, has always had a very high rate of domestic violence, interpersonal violence, child abuse. But since 2013, we have seen some of those child abuse numbers go down. And I'm a firm believer that's because we have so many really good agencies in the community working to address that issue. And we have an opportunity right now. There's a new grant out that the DA's office, Jamestown Police Department, and our agency are working on to address specifically domestic violence high-risk cases. And we were a designated community, a designated county, which that's not the greatest to be in those high top numbers. But now we have these resources that we can address and, combat the problem that we're having. So, yeah.
By noting that Chautauqua County is one of the highest for this problem, this is a terrible question, but what's the number one highest reason? I know there's many reasons, but is there one that floats to the top?
Honestly, I get asked that all the time, and I don't have a good answer for that other than we know that poverty is a number one leading cause of a lot of social ills.
There, yeah.
We have a lot of poverty. We are a high-rate poverty community, county in the state and in the nation. And we also have a lot of generational interpersonal violence. And so if you're a well-versed person on this, you know that it takes a long time to address those issues. When I first came into it 30 years ago, I had worked in other fields where I saw domestic violence and I saw child abuse, working in drug and alcohol, working with youthful offenders. And then I came into this field and I was a little delusional in that, I was going to save the world and make changes right away, and had a wise local therapist, and she's like, you got to take baby steps. 30 years later, we are seeing improvements now. There are improvements, and there are all these wonderful agencies that we have that families can access to strengthen, because we don't want to take families apart, right? We want to keep families together. We want families to be strengthened.
Yep. Yeah, and you make a good point. And the word cyclical, whether it's abuse or poverty or whatever, alcoholism, drugs, and abusive now I'm talking about, where it's way beyond normal, anything. To break those cycles, grandpa did it, and dad did it, or mom did it, my cousins did it, now we do it, my kids do it. So, you see 4 or 5 generations of this, and I saw that when I was in education as well, so it's tough. All right, so Anu will be at the Expo.
Yes, Anu will be at the
And
Expo.
so if somebody comes up to your table, what will they see?
So we're going to have a couple tables because we have so many different components to our program. We're going to have the children and family outreach staff there so they can do interactive things with the folks that are there. We'll have some swag and information. We're going to be off to the side with some of our staff to do some bystander intervention little exercises. We'll have a table for our case managers and be able to meet our actual staff who are providing the services to the folks. So have a face to the agency, I think, will be a really nice opportunity.
Okay.
We'll be there the whole day.
No, totally serious now. If somebody's watching or knows somebody and they say, oh, well, you should go to that expo and find out what's going on. And they're going to say, there's no way in heck I'm going to go there. If I go and whoever is the abuser finds out that I went there, it's going to make my life hell. So what do you say to those people?
Well, that's always a consideration. You always have to take folks' safety into consideration. The nice thing about the expo is we're covering a lot of different topics. I mean, we're focusing on sexual assault because that is the month, but there's other topics and there's other things happening, and I'll let Jodi talk about that. But we have a lot of different vendors, like 20 or more, and there's going to be free food. It's in a local spot, so I think that, you know, if folks want to go, they can use the knowledge and the swag and the things that they're getting from other places, because it's really a community event, right?
You know what, and we'll get to more of those vendors here in a second, but what I always try to remind people is if you know of somebody that's in this situation and they can't get there, you go.
Right.
You get the information, get the phone numbers, and we're gonna come back to these phone numbers again. I always do at least 3 times, because people are listening on the radio can't see us and they may wanna hear these numbers. So in fact, let's do that right now. What's the hotline number again?
1-800-252-8748.
Okay, so now we've done it twice. We'll do it one more before the end of the show. Okay, now we have a poster, right?
Yes, we have a
Jeff, want to pop
poster.
that poster up? Only because I want to do a visual real quick. Where's this going to take place? I don't know if
It's
I asked.
going to take place at First Lutheran Church on Chandler Street. That's a big, beautiful castle-like church. Beautiful space underneath, large space with plenty of room and spread out for our vendors. And we'll have looping videos that are pertain to sexual assault. We have the Project Crossroads from JPD. They're going to have a display there called What They Wore. So, you know, those old set in our ways things about what we think about people who've been assaulted. Said, oh, you must have been dressing provocatively, you must have been in the wrong place, you must, you know.
It's all your fault.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So we want to take that away. It's not your fault. Most of the people, as people will see it on the display, or, you know, they're in sweats or, you know, everyday things.
So let's go through the numbers, because right now, this is coming up quick.
Coming up quick,
So
yes.
why don't you go right through the information.
Friday,
on the
April
There you go.
4th, from 2 to 7. Free food, free info, giveaways, we have basket drawings.
What's it cost?
It's free. It's free to be a someone at the table, and it's free for participants.
All right.
Yeah, so we're super excited. We have a thing for an anti-spiking campaign there. If anyone knows spiking, that
As in
means
drinks?
people getting their drinks spiked when they're out and about, and it doesn't have to be alcohol. Can be right. Can just be pop or water,
Grape
whatever.
juice, yeah.
Anything that where you are and your drink is exposed, then you're at risk. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so we'll bring that up again, and Jeff, you can pop that up anytime you want while we're talking. So Anu's going to be there. Who else is going to be there?
Well, I want to have a shout out to Jamestown High School audio videography class, because they created a PSA, which Emily Spillman spearheaded.
Okay.
And so we're going to have that PSA on a loop to show their good work and
How
the information.
how long is the loop?
I'm not sure yet. We're just putting it together.
Well, only
so
because
the
I
video
want it
loop.
here. I want you to give it to me.
The
so
video loop.
We can do that, on our little break between
Okay.
here. We can do that here.
Okay. Well, when we get it put together, can I send it then?
Yes.
It's going to have a skit. So besides a videography class, and there was actually 2 there that they did one a couple years ago for our Luna Fest. So that's going to be on there.
You said Luna Fest?
Luna Fest.
Yeah, Luna Fest. We didn't have it last year, unfortunately. We buy it from Luna Fest, and so they had to take a break. But it's little snippets, little short videos by women for women.
You have great words in Luna Fest. Zonchin, Zonta. I studied Latin, so
Yeah.
and Luna's moon. So
Yes, it is moon.
Okay, so I digress.
Yeah.
All right, so who else is going to be there? There's 2 out of the 20.
Yeah, we're going to have Jen Wilcox, who will represent the Wellness and Forensic Center. She runs that with Tammy Bimber.
Whoa.
So-
the what place? And what do
So
they do?
that's a new clinic on 3rd Street,
Okay, what is it?
the Wellness and Forensic Center.
Those 2 words don't seem to go together.
Right, so
forensic and wellness.
because a lot of emergency rooms are no longer staffing sexual assault nurses.
Or they don't have
Or
nurses
they
who are
don't
trained.
have nurses who are trained in treating specifically that type of issue and concern.
So if someone were to come into the ER and says, I've been assaulted, there's nobody there
No,
to...
they'll take care of them, but
Right.
maybe not in the manner in which is required or that they really need. And most people, when this happens, they don't want to go to the emergency room.
So the really nice
It's a very
thing,
scary, re-traumatizing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this clinic is the only one like it in New York
Mm-hmm.
State, and Jennifer worked really hard and tirelessly to give this to our community,
Yes.
and so did Tammy. They are both
Yep.
sane and safe trained nurses, so they do sexual assault forensic exams. They've been, between the two of them, 50 or 60 years of experience. They know what they're doing. It's a very welcoming atmosphere. They do most of the children's exams for the child advocacy program. They work hand in hand with that agency, and the families are able to come in and have a relaxed environment. They're, that they're highly specialized and highly trained to work with pediatric exams especially, and we've been using them, and if they are contacted, they will call our hotline so we can send an advocate. If we're contacted, we contact them, and we have gotten overwhelmingly great responses from our victims who have used their
All right,
facility.
I'm trying really hard not to be naive here. So walk me through. So let's take a child. The child has been abused somehow, and they will examine this
Yes.
child and
Yep,
do a
medical
police
exam.
report?
Well, they do the medical exam,
Okay.
and then if it warrants to have police intervention in the family and CAP do that, they will do that. The component is, one, they check their health and wellness, right, and address any needs that need to take place. We'll refer them out if they need further assistance, but also they know how to document everything. So if it does go as far as a criminal case, an investigation, and possibly trial, they are very expert in their knowledge and their ability to document and testify.
All right. Now, and we were talking before the show, because men can be assaulted, sexually
Yes.
assaulted.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to keep it broad.
Yes, for
If
anyone.
an individual is sexually assaulted or sexually or physically assaulted, they would contact these people? And
They could,
They
yeah.
could.
They
yes.
could. So how do they get hold of them?
So they can either contact our hotline, and
That
we
same
directly,
number?
right,
Okay.
1-800-252-8748.
Here's 3 times.
Or if they present to, they could reach out to CAP if it's been some time
All right,
since the
CAP
Assault
is-
Child Advocacy Program.
Down on 3rd Street?
Yeah.
They used to be on 3rd.
Cap,
Yeah,
they used
CAP's
to be on
got
third.
And then if they present to
I've
the
been there.
police department
Mm-hmm.
and they disclose to the police will contact the hospitals or contact us.
Project
If
Crossroads.
they present to the ER will take care of them. There are some cases where the ER staff may reach out to Jennifer or to Tammy and set something up. And then all of the ERs have contracts with us to contact us to send an advocate.
And where is this place located?
The wellness clinic?
Yeah.
It's on
It's
3rd
on
Street,
3rd
near
Street.
Infinity, in the same building.
Oh, in the old
Right
post
in
office?
Jamestown.
Not Infinity.
Oh, I'm sorry, they moved Infinity. It's on
Infinity's
3rd
in the
Street.
Near the old
yeah.
GMV then?
Yes.
Okay, down under the Reg.
Yes, correct. Yeah. I forgot
I
about
don't
the
live
old
in Jamestown.
DMV.
I did pretty well on that one.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, all right. So I think you can already tell by my questioning. I'm trying to get into the head of the person on
Headspace.
the other side of that
Yes.
camera. So if I've been assaulted,
Yep.
and I want somebody to help me and look at me, diagnose me, evaluate me, what am I going to experience when I walk through that door? What happens?
Well, it depends on the situation, what's happened to you, and how much time since the assault, how they will medically treat you.
Sooner the better.
The sooner the better to respond. Bring your clothing that you had during the assault.
Okay, this is important stuff.
Yes,
That's why I'm
and if
into
it's if you're seeking immediate attention, don't shower. Bring the clothes that you were assaulted
Hence
in.
the forensic side
The
of it.
forensic,
Okay.
right, medical.
This is like TV.
Yeah, it is. And
Wow.
so when you present, they'll call for an advocate, will come down, and then medically they will examine you. So if there's things like you possibly need x-rays or things like that, that'll be handled. And if it's appropriate to do the forensic exam, they will do that. Victims need to know, though, that they can refuse any part of that exam. It's pretty intense. And they do, I won't get into the details, but it
Right.
is pretty intense when they're collecting forensic evidence.
Right.
And then they gather that. The victim has a choice as to whether or not they want to contact the police and follow through with that. There's a few exclusions to that. But for the most part, people get to make that choice.
How long has this place been?
The clinic,
Yeah.
probably over a year,
Just
year and a
over a
I've
half.
never heard of this
half.
before. This
Yeah.
is outstanding.
Oh, you'll
Yeah.
have to invite Jennifer and Tammy to
Yeah,
come
have
and
them come,
present.
or you could even do a.
I'll tell you what. Before you leave, I'll give you a card.
You can
and
do.
have them contact me.
They'll
That'd be
give
the easiest
you
thing.
a tour
Yeah.
if you want a tour.
Okay. All right. I'm really saddened, and I'm also glad to hear that we have that facility there.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, been a missing piece, perhaps.
Absolutely.
It's way too easy to get lost, and especially when you go to, I'm not saying necessarily a hospital, but a hospital is like, you know people there, where this sounds like it's much more confidential,
It
perhaps.
is. It's confidential. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's very calming. Their facility. Also, Zonta provides sweat clothes, tops and bottoms, and blankets,
Okay.
so that the person, if they have to surrender their clothing, they have something to wear home,
Y-
and they don't.
This
want
is where I wanted to go with it. This is exactly what I wanted to
Yeah.
hear.
They don't have to
Because
have a
people are saying, well,
paper.
what do I have? What do I do here?
Yeah, they don't have to have a paper covering.
Yeah.
They can take their blanket home as
Okay.
comfort, and
Yeah.
especially for a child, and they could get a book when they're there, and they get a,
Wow.
you know.
And what
So-
are the credentials of these ladies? They're nurses?
So they're both nurses, but their credentialing
They're
is
nurse
they're
practitioners, actually.
yes,
That's a
and they
higher
have
level, yeah.
I mean, Jennifer and Tammy both have 30 letters after their name, but they've both been, I know Tammy certainly has been doing this for over 30 years, and I think Jen has been 20 or 25. Jen actually used to work for us at one time.
And Jen is a Zontian.
Yeah, Jen is a Zontian as well. Oh, so is Tammy. Yeah,
Is she?
Yeah, out in Warren.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, and Warren, yes.
So it's kind of full
So-
circle for us
Yeah,
here.
it
Very
is.
good.
But so we'll see, old friends and new friends at the Expo.
Okay,
Yes.
so I think we've now covered a couple organizations, so keep going. So who else is going to be there?
Girl Scouts are coming.
Why would the Girl Scouts be there?
Well, because we want girls to feel empowered and help them learn about healthy relationships, safe dating, as I
Yep.
said before,
Yep.
boundaries, consent. What is consent? So,
Okay, we have a phone call. Are you ready?
oh,
I don't know who it
yeah.
is. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. This is Linda Spalding.
Hey, Lynn.
Good morning, Jodi and Diane.
Good morning.
You're performing a tremendous service, but boy, it must be hard. I can't imagine what it must be like to go through that experience.
Yeah?
And I understand your program is connected with the Salvation Army.
Oh, that's the
Oh, the new
yeah.
center, yes, yep. The new center is, falls under the Salvation Army of Chautauqua County. And we're kind of unique in that the Salvation Army provides a lot of different human services depending on where the units are. And we are one of only 2 in New York State that are domestic violence programs. So Elmira has a domestic violence program in their Salvation Army as well.
Well, you do wonderful work, and I know that because when I worked for Chautauqua Opportunities and for Chautauqua County, I could always count on the Salvation Army for anything,
Wonderful.
anything.
Good.
And so when I see, during the holidays, when they're out there collecting money, I always give.
That's awesome.
Every time I walk by. So you're
Okay.
doing a tremendous service, and thank you. And it certainly is not an easy job, from what I can't imagine.
Hey, Lynn, like myself, have you heard of this one organization that Jen Wilcox and Tammy are involved with, this Wellness and Forensic Clinic?
I haven't heard it before today, no.
Okay, so there's 2 of us now that know more, and hopefully
Yeah.
those out there. That's what we do here, is we put a spotlight on things, and so, isn't that fabulous to hear, that there is someplace when somebody's in dire straits that they can go to, so that's great.
Yeah.
All right.
You help. It's unbelievable the things you do for people. So thank you very much, and good luck with everything.
All right, Lynn, thanks for
you.
calling, you take
Come
care.
to the Expo.
Yeah, come to the Expo, exactly.
Bring
All right,
friends.
thanks, Lynn. All right, so.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you
Bye-bye.
take care. So the Girl Scouts obviously empower girls. My daughter was a Girl Scout. I got nieces that are Girl Scouts, and
Yeah.
you always think, oh, they're just going to sit around and sell cookies, but
Oh,
I mean, I know.
they learn so
Yeah.
so much
You
entrepreneurship, everything.
know, and I've always liked the word assertive, and I think you used it out
Yeah.
in the lobby
Yes.
earlier.
I sure did.
You know, and I'm really proud of my daughter, and I would say my daughter is, as much as she can for her personality, is pretty assertive. And because sometimes we all
hard.
get kind of like, I don't want to do this. But I mean, I'm just real pleased to have always been around assertive women, and it doesn't have to be over the top. It's just like stand my ground, and here I am. And so Girl Scouts have always provided that. So I'm glad. And Zonta seems to represent, again, a lot of those kinds of things, right?
It's a pretty, I'm not going to use intense in a bad way, but it's probably the most get it done, powerful, organized, networked, very well connected women that I've ever known. And
Do you
they're just
find in
fantastic.
society that you're running up against a lot of walls?
My whole life. Yeah, if you're a woman, absolutely. And especially as an older woman, I've
Yeah.
had people all the time at like a hotel desk on several occasions just be completely ignored and overlooked for the person behind me or next to me who might be a man or a young
Really?
person. Yeah.
And
at a
sexual-
bar, if I
yeah.
go to a bar and
And-
try to order a drink,
Right.
can't get it.
But sexual assault and child abuse,
Yeah.
it can happen to anyone, but the statistics show, and first of all, I always like to say that domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse are always the most underreported crimes.
Yeah.
The victims don't come forward, or a lot of our statistics we get from the reports that happen through criminal justice, and we know that those cases are very underreported. And just throwing some things out here, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys sometime before they're 18 years old will be sexually abused or sexually assaulted. That's astounding, but also you can see the difference between being female or male. I mean, inherently being female or being a child or
Yes.
being someone who has is in a marginalized community, whether that's by race, by socioeconomic status, or by your abilities, puts you at higher risk. So, those numbers are pretty
That's
astounding, right? I mean, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 of the folks that are abused, only about 1 in 10 ever come forward and tell their stories to someone. And just because they tell their story doesn't mean it's going to get to the point where there is, criminal action.
So, I always put this for educators. I think, all right, let's just say you have a class of 20 kids, and you look across that group. So basically 2 girls and 1 boy will be assaulted sometime in their life.
Yes.
That is horrible.
Yep.
And then, and I don't want to sound preachy here, but I've known people that were abused when they were young, and that carries for the rest of their life.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All their life. And I often think, gosh, I wonder how they would be now if they hadn't been abused. A lot of times they're meek, they're afraid. And I'm not trying
You
to
become a
be
people
too simplistic
pleaser.
about this. They're not confident, or
Right.
they maybe didn't rise to the level that they could have been, because it just took away part of their soul.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that, especially through this expo and the work that we do, we certainly want to reduce and eliminate interpersonal violence, but also for folks to know that if you have been a victim, there is help. You can learn to be resilient. It doesn't have to be your whole story. That's what I tell
Right.
people all the time. You can eventually put it up on the shelf. It's always going to be there, right? But maybe once in a while you have to take it down, dust it off, clean it up a little bit, and put it back on the shelf. But it doesn't have to be your whole life. And if you are a person perpetrating these types of crimes, there's help as well. And, to recognize that and to be able to say, I need to stop this behavior is huge, and to work to stop those behaviors too. Because we know that those folks are still going to be in our community. They're still going to be parts of families. And what we want to do is make sure that we're reaching out to everybody so that everyone understands that, we would love for it to not ever to happen, but realistically we know it is happening. So what can you do to intervene, or what can you do for yourself, or like you said earlier, your neighbor, somebody something's happening, how to be a support. And
It's interesting you mentioned the perpetrator, because a lot of times how do I put this in the way I really want to say it? We see the person as totally evil, but a lot of times we don't realize the perpetrator was abused,
Yes,
and they don't see anything wrong with it,
right,
or it's just now part of their DNA.
Right.
And so I think we gotta remember, even though have done some heinous things, we gotta help them too.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they've got to go through the healing process.
Yep.
So it's a really difficult problem. Who else? So the Girl Scouts are going to be there.
Yeah.
Keep going. Who else
So
now?
there's a new girls group around. They're called Arise.
Arise. I think I've heard of them.
Yeah. So they're an awesome group. And so they're going to be there. They're actually going to be some of our volunteers at the
Now,
Expo.
where do they come from?
They're in Jamestown.
Okay.
And it's for girls 11 through 18.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just a safe haven for them. They get to come and have a meal, you know.
Are you associated with Arise? Somebody was with Arise.
Kaylee Fazer and a few others,
Yes,
but we have worked
yes.
with them, and I promote that.
Yes. Yes.
They use the Girls Circle
We've
curriculum
talked
that
about
we
them before.
have.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, it started off as anti-trafficking, because we do have a trafficking problem
just
in
gonna
this
mention
community
that,
as
yes.
well.
Yeah, we've covered
But it
that.
has become a support, and, being able to stay with these young girls and to be able to intervene and give them supports and give them each other to be supportive of, and it's an awesome program.
So this sounds like you could bring your daughter, young daughters to
your
this.
daughter, your sons. We have a men's group coming, and I'm so sorry I don't have their name, but
Okay.
as much as I would like to say that we women can do this all by ourselves,
No, it's a
because we
team.
have been doing it for ourselves, but we're always trying to pick up the pieces after the fact that something's happened,
Yeah.
and we need to have it not happen.
Okay.
So,
All right. So Rise is going to be there. Who
yeah,
else?
Arise. We have a victim survivor coming. Her name is Brandy. She'll be joining us from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
She's a
Now, will she be
rape
giving
victim.
a talk or just?
She's going to give a talk, and then she's going to give us a little Zumba demonstration,
Oh, cool.
because
How fun.
we have to have something positive and uplifting, and we need to be
Healing.
physically strong. We need healing, and that might come through
Zumba is not something that I would necessarily consider doing.
Yeah.
But think about the Zumba Zontions.
Yes, exactly. The Zumba
You may quote me.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on Chautauqua Sunrise.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, we're
We're gonna-
down to a minute and a half. I know
Okay.
that seems hard to believe. So any
Yes,
other
it is hard to
organizations
believe.
you want to highlight? We can't get them all, I know. but-
Renee Funk from JCC. She's going to be our self-defense
Cool.
person. So that's going to be great.
Some demonstrations, I'm assuming.
Yes, some demonstrations.
Okay, so Jeff, let's get that expo poster up here. And
Yeah.
how about Diana, you tell us that number one more time and anything else you want to talk about the expo, and Jodi can wrap up. How's that?
Hotline is 1-800-252-8748, and it's 24/7. There's always someone there to answer the phone. You do not have to give your personal information to get resources and information or have someone to talk to. And yes, we're going to be at the Expo, case managers, our children and family outreach program. We have availability for families who are at risk or known to have domestic violence or child sexual abuse happening or has happened in their family, so they can call that number as well, and we'll get them hooked up with someone from the Children and Family Resource.
Okay. I'm
yeah,
up prayer.
program.
And Jodi, you get the last, let's hear from the
Okay.
Zonta point of view.
Yeah, excellent. So everyone, please come out to the expo. Bring your neighbors, your grandchildren, your kids, boys, girls, college kids especially.
Yeah.
They're, high risk area.
And do dumb things.
Well, they're just.
I was in college.
Yeah.
Our brains
I
aren't
wouldn't say dumb
formed
things. They're
completely.
just,
Oh, for me,
you're,
I'd say
you're
it was
having
dumb.
fun,
You're
right?
dumb
You're
thing.
spreading your wings and
Yeah.
having new experiences.
Right.
So none of it's bad. But so zontajamestown.org for more information.
Okay.
And our Facebook page.
All right. And it's going to be at Chandler Street. It's the First Lutheran Church?
Yeah, First Lutheran Church on
Okay.
Chandler Street.
And April 4th?
April
It's coming up
4th, 2
really
to
quick.
7,
All
right around the corner.
Well, ladies, good luck to you, and
Thank
please
you.
don't be a stranger to the show here, and let me know if I can do anything else
Thank you
for you.
for having us.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
folks,
Thank you.
we're going to wrap things up. So we've put a spotlight on a lot of issues here in Chautauqua County. We're not afraid to talk about them. You know somebody, check it out, and if you're involved or you have a situation you need to talk about, there are people that are there to listen. All right, we're going to do this all next Saturday, Once again, from 9 to 10 here on Spectrum 1301, Access Chautauqua. I'm Doc Hamels. Have a great weekend. Stay dry, but it's going to be warm. Take care. Bye-bye.